Hey everybody, it's Nick Astor. I'm excited to be here with Sean Esbjorn-Hargens. You're the founder of MetaIntegral, a very interesting organization. Sean, in a nutshell, what's MetaIntegral all about?
MetaIntegral is a boutique integral business consulting firm. We work with organizations around leadership development, cultural change, change management. And over the last 5 years, we've put most of our effort in developing what I call the Meta Impact Framework, which I think we'll be talking about. But basically, it's a way of measuring impact across 10 different types of capital.
I like that. Measuring these things is really important, and it's a challenge that a lot of people who talk about these greater issues of sustainability and environmental and social impact, have a hard time putting numbers to.
Yeah.
You mentioned this idea of 10 forms of capital. That's fascinating. What are they? Or, we'll go through all 10 of them, but what is that concept even all about, and how do you go about measuring these things?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago, working with an organization, they were interested in including several forms of capital: social capital, human capital, and natural capital. So I got very interested in this idea that there was more than one kind of capital. And so I started doing research. And over about a year's time, I had identified 20 different models that were using more than one type of capital. And these models range from 3 types of capital all the way up to 19. And so I did a meta-analysis of all the types and basically using some integrative theory to kind of boil it down to what are the essential ones. And in my process, I arrived at 10. And basically, these are value, areas of value that we create all the time in our relationships, in our organizations, and we're often exchanging value across these domains. It's just our forms of measurement tend to focus on just 2 or 3, sometimes 4 of these areas, but there's actually measurements and metrics for all 10. And so our focus has been basically kind of integrating all these different approaches that are out there into a framework that allows us to just see how an organization's usually having more impact than they realize, because they're only measuring a few of the types of impact when actually they're having more than that.
That's great. Can you give us a simple example? I mean, this is complex, but give us a simple example of, I'm a business. Obviously, I know that I have impact out there in the world in positive and negative ways, one way or another. I mean, what's something I would go out there and say, gee, I really want to measure my impact on this type of capital, and here's some results I can get, and something useful I can do with that?
Yeah, so there's an organization we're working with in Australia, and they work with forklift drivers, and they position themselves in the market by highlighting 4 types of capital that they provide their customers. So they talk about knowledge capital because they use an app to track data in real time. They talk about saving money by using this app. They talk about safety, so health capital, because it allows them to reduce the number of impacts and accidents that occur on the forklifts. And they talk about manufactured capital because they're able to maintain the equipment for longer periods of time and track when things need to be changed. So when I started working with them, I said, well, let me see, what are some customer satisfaction surveys and data that you have? And so they gave me that information, and I went through it. And what I started noticing in the customer surveys, the customers were saying they were finding the product and the app valuable in a number of additional ways beyond the 4 types of value or capital that the company was focused on. And so what I realized when I started sorting through it, that the company was actually delivering value across all 10 areas of capital, but they were only selling their product focused on the 4. Now, here's the catch. All the other companies out there in this area were selling their products on the same 4 types of capital. So this really allowed a major differentiation in the market with hey, we provide those 4 kinds of capital, but we also provide peace of mind, psychological capital. We also provide a way of connecting drivers into a peer network that helps them, manage themselves, share examples, and, so social capital. We also support, reducing the energy use of the vehicles, so natural capital, right? So I gave the company a way of pointing to the other kinds of value that they were generating for their customers, and show them ways they can measure it in simple, fashion with basic metrics, So now they are able to tell a much more powerful story about the impact they're having, because they can now make visible a variety of types of capital that weren't visible before, even though it was occurring in the customer relationship.
I love this. This is so cool. Where can folks learn a little bit more about this? Is this on the MetaIntegral website somewhere?
Yeah.
If I just start looking for 10 forms of capital? Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to www.metaintegral,
I'll put that
META,
on the screen right below us here.
okay,
Yeah.
metaintegral.com, our landing page gives an overview of the model, and yeah, there's different events and trainings that we offer, and we're also going to be at the Transform event, so that'll be another place to come and learn more about what this looks like.
Excellent. Anything in particular we can expect to learn from you when we see you in May?
Yeah, for me, I've done a lot of training and education and an approach that highlights and embodied learning. So I'm working with you and Kevin and the rest of the team, as you know, to explore how can we give people an experience of working with all 10 capitals while they participate in the event, so that these ideas aren't just a powerful map that's external to us, but it's actually a way of navigating our experience and our interactions with other people, and so that we really bring these ideas alive. So the event's going to be designed in a way that allows people to taste this directly and discover how they can translate it into their own projects and into their own initiatives.
Outstanding. Well, Sean, really excited to see you in person in May. We certainly, this is just a teaser of a terrific longer conversation to come. Thanks a million for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Take care.